Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah.
Hey Vivas, and welcome to yet another episode of Viva Aaliyah. We are in season 4. Still can't believe that that's true. And we are actually episode 4 of season 4. We have had an amazing time already, and we have more coming up for you. I want to give a shout out to my Gay United States family. Gay United States is going on right now. Congratulations to the newly sashed Mr. Gay United States, Anthony Solo Jackson. I can't wait to have you on the show. Next week will be a Gay United States show. This week I have a very special guest. I have been dying to talk to this woman. She is amazing and talented and all of those other things, and beauty is something that she surpasses every day of her life. But before we start, as you know, I am somebody who is very open, very honest, and I will say what I'm thinking. This week, we had the verdict from the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And to say I am disappointed, disgusted, and beyond belief at the lack of the lack of confidence I have in our justice system it doesn't even compare to what I'm feeling right now, what our country is feeling. I have to say that my heart goes out to the families of the victims. I cannot imagine what it was like to sit there and hear that idiotic teen who knew exactly what he was doing was free of all charges. And I firmly believe that his mother should have been convicted as well. She drove him there. She knew what she was doing. She knew that he had a assault rifle with him. And I also want to say I voted for President Biden, but because I voted for him, I want to hold him accountable. And his words on this case were disgusting and immoral and unjust. And our justice system is not just, and it does not have, it is not living up to its expectancy. And we are not the free of the home and the land of the brave, or however we're supposed to say it. We are at this point the land of the few and the privileged. And I want to say to all of my fellow BIPOC individuals out there, we have to keep each other safe. We have to rely on our white allies and the people that support us. And we have to make sure that we are going out in groups and taking care of each other. That is what I wanted to say about this. I am just disgusted with it. But today, after that is said, we are moving on with our show. And on our show today, we have a woman I'm very excited to talk to. She is wonderful. She is everything. Watching with the puppies. Oh, also, you can see I am not in my normal studio. We are coming to you live from the Atlanta Marriott Marquis. And I am very excited to be here. I'm competing for Miss Renaissance tomorrow. So send all of your love and let's get started. She is Miss Continental 1988. She and my drag mother, Maya Douglas, are two of my largest inspirations. I watch her all the time. I follow her on Instagram. We're going to talk to her about lots today. I got to meet her this last year at Continental, and we had a drink together and had just a good old time. She is none other than the beautiful and talented. Calling in today is Miss Kelly Lauren. Hi, honey. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Wow, technology works good, especially when you have somebody else doing it for you.
How's your day going?
Well, it's good, and I want to apologize to you on the air and to all the viewers and or listeners, because it's going to do two different things. It's going to start out video, and it's going to about the misunderstanding. I didn't know I was supposed to be on camera, and so you're in bed with Kelly Lauren right now. Oh my
Ooh.
God. I just referred to myself in the third person. That's so fucking creepy.
We're going to have a new segment on Viva Aaliyah called In Bed with Kelly Lauren.
Well, you know what? I have unlimited guests.
Word. Okay. Unlimited guests. You heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
I do want to remind our audience that if you do have questions, concerns, comments, you can send them in. We're not guaranteed to post them. And I also might be a smart ass back if you say the wrong thing. But you can always comment in. We are happy to put them up. And anybody listening out in podcast land, we do have our show live each and every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And so, Miss Kelly, let's get started.
Sure.
We talked about, so I ask every guest what's in your glass, but you told me that you are a caffeine-aholic, and so you've already had all your drinks for today.
Right.
You have drank how many ounces of tea, you said?
Well, you know, I don't pay attention to the ounces, but it was it was 3 large glasses of iced tea. So I'm definitely caffeinated. And no disrespect, but you did tell your listeners and viewers that we had a drink together. But in fact, we had a chat.
We did have it. Well, I think you had a drink in hand, and I may have had a drink in hand. You were drinking.
It was probably what is that thing I get when I go to a bar sometimes? A ginger beer.
Ginger beer.
Because I am clean and sober. So if anybody knows me that knows I'm clean and sober, I don't want them to think that I had a cocktail. I don't judge anybody. I'm not better than anybody. I'm just 26 years is a long time, and I think it's my greatest accomplishment. So I'm proud of it. But everybody who's an alcoholic and still drinking, raise your glass to me, and I will cheers you with Lipton's iced tea.
Well, here on Viva, and I put this in our message, when I say, actually, I have it right here. I realize that not everybody drinks alcohol, so we fully support and celebrate our sober friends and non-alcoholic drinks, but it's a part of our audience interaction, so raise one either way. So drink to me can be anything from water to vodka. So we did have a drink, but not a cocktail together. I had the cocktail, you had a drink.
Yes.
So you are Miss Continental 1988.
Yes.
And it is such a huge family and has grown extensively since you have been Miss Continental. What has it been like to be a part of that competition since that day?
You know what? Every year I would look forward to it. I would look forward to the Academy Awards and to going to Continental every year. And there were a few years where I was cordially uninvited because I did a number, and at the end of the number, I did Nasty Girl by Vanity 6 one year, performing as a former. And at the end of the number, I was only wearing earrings and pumps.
Ooh, I love that. We're gonna have to get to New York City to do that number.
I got in trouble. I got in trouble for that. And it's interesting because now a lot of the girls come out and are very, very naked. Now I will tell everyone that I was taped. I didn't serve Chucky to everybody, but it did not go over well. And I did not do it maliciously. It was just a really bad choice because in Texas, you could do that kind of thing and get away with it. And anyway, so I was cordially uninvited a few years, but every year I would look forward to it so much. And I would always, one of the people I would always look most forward to seeing would be Erica Andrews, because I absolutely worshiped her. She was an incredible person. And she and I got each other in a special way. We weren't super close. We never partied together because I had already stopped all of that, before then. But she was just really, I still miss her. But I would just look forward to it all year. I would start picking out my clothes that I was going to wear to the Continental Luncheon. And, of course, the opening number, what I was going to tip around in, what I would wear for crowning, and I would look forward to it all year. And I'd have all my outfits planned out weeks in advance.
Now, I will say, you said you didn't party with her because you stopped that years ago. My sober friends sometimes are the more fun ones because at least they remember what we did the next day.
Do you know what? I think I'm more fun now. And the good news and the bad news is that I remember everything and I'm fucking crazy and I have nothing to blame it on. I can't say, oh, girl, I was drunk. No, bitch, you're just crazy. That's it. You know what I mean?
So I'm crazy and I was probably drunk. That's probably not a good combination.
It's all right. You're lovely. And I was so happy we got to meet each other in person.
Me too. Honestly, I will tell you this. It is, as somebody who has not been able to compete in Continental yet, I will one day, but I have not had the chance to be on that stage yet. It is a little daunting to and intimidating to come up to the former Continentals. And when Maya introduced me to you, it was probably one of the most exhilarating experiences, just because you're Kelly Lauren to me. You are Kelly Lauren. How I got to meet one of my idols and somebody that I look up to very much, and it's just it was amazing. And I will say this: more Continental women are warm and welcome, and I will say than some of the other systems.
Oh, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed meeting you and talking to you and talking about this and then being able to follow through with it. Sometimes you talk to people and then you message them weeks later and they don't get back to you. So thank you so much for being.
Well, I mean, I come from, I mean, obviously, okay, so obviously I'm older than you by probably quite a bit. What are you, in your 30s?
Yes.
Okay, so I was just raised in I don't know, the whole world has gone into the toilet, and people don't have manners anymore. It's kind of like, it's really sad to just see how things have changed and how people have such a huge lack of just common decency and respect for each other. But that's why the world's in the horrible shape that it's in.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I was raised in the Midwest, so I got some of that good old Midwest charm, and we talk to each other, we do things together, and we just have a good old time.
Yeah.
Where, may I ask where you're from? I know where you're living, but where are you from?
Well, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, and then I had this love affair with Chicago that I moved there the year after I competed the first time, when Shireen Alexander won. And then and so I lived there from 1985 to like 1989. I left the baton. I ran away during the night. I literally escaped during the middle of the night. Didn't tell anyone I was leaving while I was Miss Continental.
Oh, wow.
And I think I'm the only Miss Continental that did not do a step down. And there's a reason.
Are we allowed to ask about it?
Yeah, because I told you, well, you know what? I didn't even really plan on bringing this up, but I looked at the questions you were going to ask me, and I thought about being Continental, and so Jim Flint and I, we've had a very a troubled relationship, I guess you could say. I love him very much and I'm grateful to him, but we've had a difficult relationship. And there was this whole big scandal because my boyfriend wanted to do drag, and they told me that I was a disgrace and to the name Continental because I was a disgrace and embarrassment to Continental because my boyfriend wanted to do drag. And I just sort of laughed at them and I said, well, the last time I checked, Continental was female impersonation. And although I'm transgendered, there's drag entertainers. And do you know what I'm saying? It was beyond ridiculous. And Jim Flint didn't like my boyfriend. And
there's a photo of you as Miss Continental right there.
That's when I was young and innocent. Now I'm neither. But so, okay. So, so he would he didn't like my boyfriend, and he wouldn't stay out of my personal life, and I didn't like it, and I just became really unhappy. Now it turns out that there was good reasons why that Jim Flint didn't like my boyfriend, because he was using me, and I supported him the whole time we were together, and blah blah blah. Anyway, so I ran away in the middle of the night, cocained out of my mind, high, so high that it's a wonder I didn't have a heart attack, and escaped and moved to Milwaukee because I'd been performing there a lot, and I knew that they would put me on cast in a regular show. And anyway, I've never told this story to anybody, but
Thank you.
well, and somebody's probably going to get mad at me, but I'm telling the truth. So, tough shit. So I escaped, and I lived in Milwaukee, and I got a phone call from, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm doing this. I got a phone call from Dana Douglas.
Okay.
And she said, girl, she said, I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to get you. They're going to get you somehow. And I was naive, and I was gullible. And she said, I don't know what they're going to do, girl, but they're going to get you. She said, what you ought to do is you ought to wait till the very last minute, let them wonder if you're even going to be there, and then just walk on stage. And if you can ever find a video of my question and answer, it was probably, I think that I might have even won the contest with my question and answer, because it was very humble and it was very sweet. And I felt like that's how I won that contest. I won it with grace and with humility and with class. And I was afraid that if they got me, like she said they were going to, that I might show my ass.
Oh.
And I didn't want to be remembered that way. And so it just seemed like my best choice was to just not put myself in a position where somebody could humiliate me or embarrass me or make me not act in a way that was uncontinental.
Yeah.
And so I had a barbecue in Milwaukee, and guess who was more than happy to step in for me and be Miss Continental 2 years in a row?
That would have been
Dana Douglas.
Dana. Yeah, Dana.
And I mean, I don't hold any resentment against her. I feel like she and I are on good terms, but that's the truth, and that's what happened. And so anyway, so I always felt like I was the black sheep of the Continental family.
But now you are in good terms, and you are there basically every year.
Yeah, but I didn't go this past year because it didn't seem it. I'm healthy. I'm luckily HIV negative, and I'm healthy, and I don't have any real health issues. But it didn't seem smart to be at a mass gathering. And that was just my choice. However, I did go to the Baton afterwards, and that's where you and I met. Because yes. I love being a part of that system so much that I wanted to experience some of it. And it was interesting because at Jim Flint's birthday party, I met Travis, and I met our new Miss Continental.
Juliana. Yes.
Yeah, and she was like, I was like literally like falling all over myself over her and how beautiful she was. And she was incredibly, incredibly sweet. And I just think it's cute because on my Instagram page at the birthday party, I have pictures with Stasha, and then I have pictures with the future Mr. Continental and the future Miss Continental. And so I kind of wanted to go to be able to congratulate them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, that's wonderful. Travis is, of course, he's a dear friend of mine. He's going to be a wonderful Mr. Continental. But Juliana, man, she came out of nowhere and just, wow. She blew my mind. And
yeah.
I mean, gown, talent, everything. She was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't mind putting up the comment from Miss Jennifer, that would be amazing. Jennifer Fox commented in, always fascinating conversation with interesting individuals, and tonight is no different. Hugs to you and the fabulous Miss Lauren, and good luck tomorrow.
Is that Jennifer Fox that's a former Miss America?
That is Jennifer Fox from
I know her.
Yes, she has been on the show. She is a very dear friend of us, and we love her so much.
Yes, she was always lovely every time I met her.
Every time she exudes professionalism and wondrousness. I love her. So when you actually the interesting thing about your continental photo that Dominic put up is your crown is different. You've seen a journey of the continental crown as well.
Yes, they got better. And actually that tiara is the one that was on Dana Douglas's head. Back then, I think it might have been on somebody else's head before that. Back then they actually passed the crown down.
I remember I think Dana told, or maybe Maya told me that.
But yeah, but that one, and I still have it, and it's a little wobbly. I think Dana had already traveled with it for a year, and she took really good care of it. But I think, because it was so delicate with those spikes, it had been soldered to be reinforced a little bit.
Do you remember when they changed from that crown? Was it the year after you?
Well, that's the year I didn't go, for sure.
So they didn't have a crown to get. No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm sure I'm sure Dana made sure they had one.
Do you remember the feeling that you had when they put that crown on your head?
Yes.
And called your name? What was it like having your name called?
It was like beyond exhilarating, and it was just incredible. And I'll tell you something interesting. I remember distinctly being in that hallway at the Park West, getting ready to go on for the parade of contestants. And I remember the whole entire night, I was in tears the whole night. But it was always the same, for the same reason, because I said, this is it. This is my night. And I knew I was going to win. When you can just feel something in your gut.
Yeah.
And so it was exhilarating. And then my regret, I do have a regret, and my regret is that I let some of the bullshit and the games that people were playing with me, I let it get to me.
Yeah.
I'm not that girl anymore. And I still fall victim to cruelty from other girls and other people, even former Continentals. And this time I'm going to not go there, but I've had former Continentals actually try to prevent me from getting gigs.
Oh, wow.
And prevent me from getting work. And I find that despicable, especially when it's another, it would be despicable if it was a boy in drag or if it was another trans girl. But I feel like the trans people, we struggle a little bit more for steady employment because of discrimination and stuff like that. And I'm lucky that I have a retail job in cosmetics right now. But not everybody's lucky. And just for anybody to try to prevent someone else from making a living, I feel is unforgivable.
Yeah. I mean, in any time, not even in today's world, I almost said in today's world, but in any time, stay in your own lane. Let people do what they do. Just let people be. That's the biggest thing. And we get so much farther in life by just being kind. There's a difference between being truthful and being malicious. And some people are just malicious.
Right. I love that you said stay in your own lane, because I was going through a really difficult time once. And it was because there was somebody, an entertainer, that was really fucking with me. And it was Lila Starr. And she said to me, Miss Kelly, don't let anybody knock you out of your lane. In other words, that was her way of saying, remember who you are. And it was one of those lovely things that, how sometimes God will put somebody in your path and they will tell you exactly what you need to hear when you need to hear it. And I needed that right then. Absolutely. And I love her still to this day for that.
Well, Lila Starr, we need to love you even more.
Oh, you should have her on sometime. She's a hoot.
Oh, I would love to. I would absolutely love to. So how far, when you won Miss Continental, how far into your performance career were you?
Well, I started performing when I was 16 years old. The drinking age was 18 back then. And yeah, so I mean, when I won Continental, I believe, no, I know I was 28 because I was contestant number 28, which I thought was
That's
one of
amazing.
I thought that was kind of like one of those
That's a sign.
yeah, it was a sign, like serendipitous or whatever. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so you were 28. You started at 16, so you were 12 years into your career. And when you did start performing, who gave Kelly Lauren her start, and where was your first performance?
Well, my first performance was in a black nightclub called The Cove, and it was in Houston, Texas, and I wasn't even old enough to be in the bar. But who gave me my start really was my drag mother, because we became friends because of a pair of shoes, because she had this pair of Charles Jourdan shoes, and I'll never forget, it was like one of those life-changing moments. She picked up her dress. She had just been crowned Miss USA, and she picked up her dress really, really high and walked up these stairs at Numbers in Houston. And I saw up the back of her heel, there were rhinestones shooting up the back of her heel and around the ankle. And as it turned out, I think I was 17, and I ended up finding, it never occurred to me when I was looking for the shoes that I would find the shoe. We didn't have the internet or anything like
Oh, you
that.
found them.
Well, they were Charles Jourdans. I bought them. I conned my father out of $100, and then I remember, I think they were like $112.08 or something like that, or $108.12, because I remember I had to scrape together $8.12. I was in beauty school, but I thought that when I went looking for the shoes, that I would find a shoe like it and I could put the rhinestones on myself. And then I was in this shopping mall, and there was a Charles Jourdan store, and there was that shoe.
Wow.
So my first real pair of expensive shoes was those, and she saw me in them on Halloween, and she ran home and looked in her closet. But it was my drag mother, Naomi Sims, if I didn't say that.
Naomi. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Naomi Sims was my drag mother, and well, for one, the bitch thought I stole her shoes. But then when she realized I had definitely gotten her attention, and we became friends until she passed away. And she would put me in the shows with Tiffany Jones and Donna Day and Tasha Cole, and there was another incredible entertainer called Ernestine back then. But I worked with Hot Chocolate and Naomi, and I worked with the Fab Four. I was never part of them, but I was like their little mascot, and Naomi put me in like lots and lots and lots of the shows. So I was very lucky. It was like being in a drag university.
Tasha has been on the show, and she's a very good friend as well. I try to keep in
Love
touch
her.
with everybody that I interview so that we can continue our friendship and all
Yeah.
of that. So
she's amazing.
We will continue on, Miss Kelly. But Tasha is amazing. Let me ask you a question. I've never thought about this until just this moment, or asked this question before, but as a trans woman, how was it having a drag queen that presents male during the day? How was it having that person as your drag parent?
Well, you know what? The thing is that I don't think anybody anywhere ever could have had a drag mother as good as Naomi Sims, because she was always my role model and who I aspired to be like, because there was nothing she couldn't do. She could do there wasn't a single genre of songs she couldn't do. She could do Broadway. She could dance. She could do country and Western. She could do ballads. There was nothing she couldn't do. She could put together an entire theme show from beginning to end, and she could MC, and she was funny, and she was like absolutely the most versatile entertainer I've ever seen in my entire life. And my goal was to always be as much, not like her, but I wanted to be as versatile as she was. And oh, look at there. Oh my gosh. She was so beautiful. She was absolutely just a one of a kind.
Just stunning. Do you know what crown that is that she's wearing?
I don't.
I know she was a Miss Gay America. She was US of A. She was EOY.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could have been any of them, or it could
Yeah,
have been.
she was amazing.
Wow. So your first performance was at which bar?
My first performance was at a bar called The Cove.
The Cove.
And yeah, and I did a song called Guava Jelly by Barbara Streisand off the Butterfly album. And I had a black Cleopatra wig, and I put silver glitter Christmas balls in my hair, and I wore a caftan that I made by cutting a hole in one of my mother's satin sheets. She had a round bed. You know, there's a story there. And
of course.
and I did this song Guava Jelly, and I thought I looked exactly like Elizabeth Taylor. However, I did not. So I've come a long way, you know.
You know, my first performance was Selena, and I swore I looked like her. And as you just said, I did not.
I did not. Yes.
So we all think we look like something on our very first performance. But as I say to every new queen, we have to start out somewhere, and
That's
grow.
right.
So I'm actually interested to know, what is your thought on kind of like the changing of the drag world and how we're becoming a little bit more inclusive. We have bearded queens, we have bio queens, we have more male entertainers now. We have all of this. There's a lot that has advanced and changed. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, you know, it certainly has changed a great deal. It used to be there weren't that many different types of queens. To me, it was kind of like, but I also came in at a time where I was getting, because I mean, I was sneaking into bars underage watching drag shows. So I was getting queens that there was still a leftover 1960s era still that was an influence. And because, you know, because I didn't transition until 1980, and I had already been performing for a little bit. So I caught the end of the 70s. I caught the disco era. And it used to be there was really kind of two kinds of queens. There was comedy queens, or everybody wanted to be as feminine and dishy as possible. And now it's really changed. And what are my thoughts on it? I mean, you know, it's like I always kind of liked, one of the things I liked about Chicago was because you could work in a show and you could have like a boy queen that was transformed into a beautiful woman. You could have a trans queen, and then you could have like a club kid or a comedy queen like Teriyaki or something like that. And it was like the shows had so much variety in them that I think it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't really kind of get the whole bio queen thing at first. I think maybe it's just all these girls got bitter and they said, well, they felt left out, and they were like, well, why should the guys have all the fun?
Maybe.
So who knows?
And you're one of the head queens at Hydrate still?
I was.
You were.
Yeah, but I'm not in Chicago anymore, honey. I moved to Cincinnati shortly after we met.
Oh, right. You just said that to me. And we have an answer for the crown, about the crown, actually. Miss Jennifer Fox, Dominic, if you want to put it up, I'll start reading it. Actually, that is Lady Shawn's Miss Dallas crown on Miss Sims. And Jennifer has that crown. And Newman, or Naomi, loved Kelly very, very much and protected and included her in everything. Very true.
Yeah, Lady Shawn was something else too. Wow. Yeah. I felt like that I was so fortunate to come up when I did. And I always knew that I was lucky. I was lucky to be a part of that group. But I feel like that the way that the young kids coming up, the way they do drag, for one, there's a lack of respect. But yeah. I think that a lot of times they think they know everything. And I, on the other hand, I can only speak for myself, but I, on the other hand, I was like a sponge. I wanted to, my eyes were always open. I was always looking at everything. I studied everything. I didn't miss anything. I soaked it all up. I took it all in. I wanted to learn as much as I could. And I was lucky because my teachers were Tiffany Jones, and what two of my first big idols were Tiffany Ariagas, who I just worshipped, and Heather Fontaine.
Yes.
But Tiffany Ariagas was and Roxanne Russell, and what was the tall one with the legs? She was a former Miss America. When she won Miss America, she did Mary Magdalene, and then
Jennifer will know.
Who?
I said Jennifer will know if she
Yeah.
able to comment
Rachel Wells. Rachel Wells.
Oh yes, Rachel.
And then
Wells.
she turned into Jesus, and they nailed her to the cross. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like but Ariagas was is incredibly fascinating because I learned from her how to think outside of the box, because she was a Black girl, and I'll never forget one time. She is a Black girl, and she did Don't Cry for Me Argentina once at the old plantation, and she did the whitest version of it there was. She did Olivia Newton-John, and she was bold, and it was kind of for then it was like a shocking choice, but she was so incredible and so mesmerizing that the crowd was absolutely mesmerized by her, and she just stood completely still, and she just bled and oozed everywhere. You know what I mean? It was like she was just, and so I mean, I studied the greats, you know.
Yeah, I feel very lucky to have known some of the greats, and Tiffany is definitely somebody who we want to have on Viva and will. But I feel very blessed to grow up before the age of MySpace, MySpace and YouTube and Facebook, and or I shouldn't say grow up, but have started drag because somebody posted recently, and I reposted it, but I can't remember who said it originally. But to learn, I had to travel, and I had to meet people, and I had to ask questions, and I didn't just have to download a YouTube video on how to do a cat eye or cut crease or contour. And I remember the first major queen that I met was Erica before she passed, and she looked at me and she said, "You're doing something right."
She was something else.
That to me was just, she could have said, "You're the ugliest thing in the world," and she would have never said that because she was so nice. But but I would have just taken it in and soaked it in. I am so blessed, and I have Maya Douglas as my drag mother, so I get to meet her friends and the people that have influenced her if they're still around, and I just feel so blessed for that, and I almost feel sorry for the newer queens.
Well, you know, young people today are very, 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 very different. You know, I was, I remember, I got on a bus in Chicago. I was on my way to work one day, and these gay Black kids got on the bus, and they looked at me, and all of a sudden they started talking shit to me, and they were obviously, I think there might have even been one of them that might have been trans, but I'm not sure, because, you know, like they were kind of confrontational, and I was just going to try to not get into anything, you know. But this one gay boy, he said, "That's a man." And then he said, "And she's old. She looks like she's about 30. Well, this was only a couple of years ago, so I was already like pushing 60. So I thought, well, this faggot didn't realize he gave me a compliment. So, you know, he thought he was like really hurting my feelings, but instead I'm like, well, you know,
I still look 30.
Yeah. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, there's just a complete lack of respect, and I don't think anybody should kiss my ass. I'm not saying that, but it's just things are different. And then, you know, it's like when before, I haven't performed in over 2.5 years, and I'm looking to get back into it as soon as I can find the right opportunity and all that. But you know, there's just like people, like I was working in shows with people in their 20s,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I mean, I don't think I'm getting bookings because people feel sorry for the old tranny. I must be doing some, like Erica said, I must be doing something right.
And you are. You're still looking good. You're still killing it. Yes. Look at you.
I look like I have no neck there. I didn't do my own makeup there. I had a friend. We had that was a quarantine photo session.
You have oh, there. Yes. That's beautiful. Wow. Very Madonna.
Thanks.
Jennifer made a comment about Tiffany again wearing that gold accordion pleated Mary McFadden copy.
That's exactly the fucking dress. She looked like an Egyptian scarab.
Yes.
Oh my God, I cannot believe she knows that.
Jennifer knows all.
We should have had a 3-way. You, me, and Jennifer.
Still can. There's in the future. We will do that. Yeah, I just there's a lack of respect in today's world, and there's a lack of knowledge. That's what I think that's where the disrespect comes from. There's a lack of knowledge of who came before and who was doing what, and like you said, you're not asking for anybody to kiss your ass, but
don't dismiss me and don't disrespect me.
But let me tell you something. You are fucking Kelly Lauren. That's what I said.
Well, now I don't let anybody knock me out of my lane.
My husband, I said this as I was getting ready, and I've said it since we started talking. I said, I have fucking Kelly Lauren gonna be on the show. I have to be, you know, I've been doing this for 3 seasons, full seasons. This is my 60 year. Oh, your show 69.
That's so perfect because I am the dirty blonde.
Your show 69, and so this is my 69th show, but I get those beautiful, not nervous, but excited butterflies in my stomach about talking to the people that I admire so much. So it's you're Kelly Lauren. If they ever have a problem, your friend Aaliyah Martinez is coming for them.
Well, you are very, 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 very kind, and I do appreciate it. And it's an honor to be asked to talk. And next time I'll throw on a face and a ball gown and
there we go.
And twirl around.
Oh, there's another Miss Continental. Oh, those earrings.
Yeah, they were something.
I hope you take this as a compliment, but you and Monica have a little similar look.
I am beyond flattered because I think she's incredible, so talented.
But I would love to get her on the show somehow. Yeah.
I don't know how she feels about any of that. She really has kind of removed herself, you know. I'm personally not ready to be done. I feel like I have more that I could do, and I feel like I have something I could still contribute, because as I've gotten, like, over this past 2.5 years and a little bit before that, I've been starting to think of who I want to be as an entertainer going forward, and how to find that right balance between doing stuff that I don't look ridiculous at 60 doing, and then, but I also don't, I know that I don't quite look my age, but
you don't.
But you know, it's like just finding that who do I want to be going forward, you know?
Yes. This was 2-3 years ago?
It was when we were Flowers. Who were we Flowers for?
That was I almost said Naisha, but it wasn't. Not Giselle. Why can't I think?
Because Giselle was the Barbies.
Giselle was Barbies. That was
Chantel.
Right? Chantel. Wow. Yeah. I kept saying S names in my head, but it was Stasha. It was everybody else but Chantel.
Right.
Chantel DeMarco. Yes. That was Chantel DeMarco's year. Yes. So that was 3 continentals ago.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it wasn't one of my favorite opening looks, but you know, they're not always our
But you look
favorites.
great.
Well, thank you.
The body is there, the face is there, the hair is there. You still got it all, mama.
You're so sweet.
So Continental was obviously like the big win for you. Were you ever interested in being anything else?
Well, yes, but here's the thing. I feel like that for me personally, if I couldn't top what I've done before, I don't want to do it. And
Yeah.
that requires money. Like I would want to do something, so spectacular that people would talk about it for years. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, there's times when I think maybe I have one more in me, but it would just I mean, I've always had big ambitions, you know. I always wanted to do like something like really theatrical or just, you know, different. I really never wanted to be like anybody else. Except I wanted to be versatile like my drag mother, but I didn't really want to be like her. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think that's important though. That's another thing that I have noticed about newer queens is they're kind of carbon copies.
Yeah,
and,
cookie cutter.
And queens from your generation, maybe even into my generation. I try to be the same as what you said. I try to be like I try to take inspiration from people, but I want to be myself. I want to. I'm a live singer. I do my own productions. I have the same feeling you do. If I did it once, I'd want to either do it bigger or do something completely different,
or just go sit down.
Yeah, and they're cookie cutters. They're carbon copies right now, and I think I've seen 100 Aquarius run by. I think I've seen 100 Ravens run by, and I don't want to be that.
I don't. And you know, you see that to me, and I know you're going to know what I'm talking about. You see that when you go to a Continental, people will see something that worked. Like the fucking fans, for Christ's sake. Will somebody please stop with the fans? I mean, they're pretty and all that, but it's almost like they see something that worked for somebody else, so they try to copy it.
Yeah.
And I always wished that people would strive to be more one of a kind, more unique, more individual.
Yeah. We saw at Continental this year 8 Le Jazz Hots.
Really?
8.
I don't know why anybody would want to do that. It never really has worked for anybody, has it?
I mean, the only reason I do it is because I can sing it. But if
that's different.
If I couldn't sing it, I would not do it. I agree, though. It's the same thing as other people have done, and you've seen it not work. So why are you still doing it?
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah. I also, real quick before, I don't really regret anything, but I do want to make sure that since I told that story about Dana, I feel like that Dana and I are on good terms. We chat back and forth on Facebook, and I just want to, if I'm going to publicly tell a story like that, I want to also publicly say that I love her very much.
Oh, Dana's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And please say anything you want to.
I will. I warned you.
I need no warning because I'm the girl that likes to tell everybody. Like I say, Viva Aaliyah is the place for LGBTQ plus people to tell our stories our way, and if that means we tell stories that are sometimes uncomfortable or sometimes call somebody out or sometimes say something about somebody, then that's what it is. But people need an outlet to tell the real stories sometimes, because we're always asked to hide things or cover them or make sure that we say it in a PC way. And that's not what our stories are all the time.
Right. Well, and you know, from a child, I've always kind of had this no fucks to be given kind of attitude, and I feel like that there's been a great joy and a freedom in that for me, but I also know that sometimes by me being so incredibly comfortable with myself that I can sometimes make people uncomfortable. I also know that I'm like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And I get that. That's fine. But I can be a lot at times, I'm sure.
I've always said though, if you're telling the truth and somebody is uncomfortable, they're the ones. Oh, look at you at your pumpkin patch.
I know I'm the queen of the pumpkin festival, or maybe Cinderfella.
That is Cinderella, honey. That is definitely Cinderella.
Not Cinderfella.
No. But I've always said if you're telling the truth and somebody is uncomfortable, it's them being uncomfortable, not you making them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So a couple more questions, and then we will kind of wrap this up. But I very much enjoyed this, and Miss Kelly, we are going to have you back on. I'm saying this publicly so that my audience holds me to it, and Dominic holds me to it, because I enjoy talking to you so much. But today's pageant world is obviously different. There's a lot different resources. There's a lot of things going on. But if you were to give advice to somebody competing in any pageant today, what would it be?
Well, for one, if you're competing, put all of your focus and all of your energy, direct it all on yourself. Turn the magnifying glass, turn it on yourself, or turn the spotlight on yourself. When I won Continental, people would say, "Oh, so and so is going to do this," and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because that didn't do me any good. It's wasted energy. Focus on yourself. And I would beg and implore everyone to do something original, please.
Thank you.
Please be yourself. Don't copy something you've seen somebody else do. Bring us something new.
Yeah. Don't do any more get on ups.
Right.
The original mix was Kitty Litters, the one that everybody does. Let her have it.
Yes.
And then as kind of our closing, is there anything coming up for you? Anything we can look out for? I know you just moved. You said you want to get back into entertaining. What can we look out for Miss Kelly Lauren?
Well, hopefully I'll, I've been chatting with some of the girls here in Cincinnati. I like to tell everyone the truth that I really moved here because of Skyline Chili, because this is the home of Skyline Chili. But of course I will. Oh my God, Skyline Chili! I've been eating it for years, but now I can have it directly, piping hot, freshly made, right in the restaurant. Actually, when I visited the first time, they said, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "Bitch, take me to Skyline." But
wow.
But I will, of course, as soon as I have a retail cosmetics job, and so it's all about scheduling, and in retail you have to have the 2 weeks advance notice, and all that. But
Yeah.
I'm ready to get back to it, and I still buy. I showed you my ball gown I just bought. I'm still buying clothes like I'm an entertainer. I just hope I don't end up like Norma Desmond, reliving this past that is strictly just the past. I'm ready for my big return.
We will make that happen.
And of course I will post, you have to post on social media or you don't get booked.
And we have you on Instagram, but if you can tell everybody, Dominic will put it up at the bottom of the screen. What is your Instagram handle?
Yes, it's The Real Kelly Lauren. It's TheKellylauren, and there's little underscores in between each one. And it's The Real Kelly Lauren, and it's the picture of the girl that looks exactly like me.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Any outgoing words of wisdom or anything else for us that you want to say? Something you've been dying to say that I haven't asked about? Please feel free.
Yes, I would like to just encourage everybody on the planet to realize that we can disagree, and that doesn't mean you have to kick somebody's ass or blow their head off or kill them. I don't know what happened to us as human beings where I think as humans, we've always had a problem with living and let live. I feel like that we need to get to a place where if we could just respect that you feel that way and I feel this way, it doesn't mean we have to hate each other's guts. If we could just get back to a place of human decency and kindness and mutual respect, I feel like otherwise, I don't know if we're going to make it.
I don't think we will.
It doesn't look good for us. And the whole thing with the aliens coming to visit us, if they were gonna fuck with us, they would have already. They probably can't be bothered with us. They probably fly over, look down and go, "Oh, those poor things." They're still fighting, and obviously they're more evolved than we are because we don't know how to visit them, but they're coming and watching us.
I could not agree more. I've been saying this. People think I'm crazy, but I've been saying it for years. Either they are the higher power or they just don't care anymore. And they're like, we can't be bothered with the earth because they've clearly been getting off wrong. We definitely been doing everything wrong.
Right. Well, clearly they don't want to take over our planet. Otherwise they already would have. And I feel like if they wanted to, they could have, because like I said, they know where we live. We don't know where they live for sure.
Exactly.
Or the government's not telling us.
Well, once again, you can find Miss Kelly Lauren, my new friend and somebody I have looked up to for some time now, on Instagram. It is at the bottom of the screen. That is at @the_real_Kelly_Lauren. It is the woman that looks like her in the photo. As she Kelly, thank you so much for chatting with me. I've had such a good time, and I will see you backstage in just a moment.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it more than you can imagine. I'm so honored and flattered.
And I can't wait to have you back. I'll see you in a second, babe.
Okay.
All right, Vivas. Next week, we are going to be interviewing our newly crowned Mr. and Miss Gay United States. We may have a couple other visitors on that show. I will be coming to you live next week from my mother-in-law's house in South Carolina. As I told you today, I'm at the Atlanta Marriott Marquis. Tomorrow, I'm competing for Miss Renaissance. So send all of your good vibes this way. I'm competing with, not against, with one of my dear sisters, Eva Angelica Stratton. So if you know her and have her on social media, please give her all the love as well. I think in competition, we have taken it to a place where people are just nasty now. And we just need to push each other forward and hold each other up and accountable for being good people. I love you. Take care of each other. Love each other. Treat somebody better than you want to be treated, and they will do it back. I promise you. And other than that, I'm going to chat with Miss Kelly Lauren backstage and spend time with my husband. Viva Aaliyah.
Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah. Viva Aaliyah.